So who then is a data scientist? A data scientist is a professional who combines maths and statistics with programming, domain knowledge, and communication skills to analyze data. Precisely, data scientists create applied mathematical models and present results in a form useful to the organization. Okay, so this is who a data scientist is. It's a person who combines the knowledge of statistics with programming, also has a domain knowledge of the problem he or she is solving, and good communication skills. Because a data scientist needs to communicate findings to the management at the end of the day, even to people that are not technical. Then what we do as a data scientist is we build models, we analyze data and build models out of it. And those models are like mathematical models that can be used to solve real world problems. Okay. What are the skills needed by a data scientist? So we go through each of them. The skills needed by a data scientist are maths and statistics. So as a data scientist, you need to have a sound knowledge of mathematics and statistics. Yeah, just as I told you, in data science, we work with data, and data may not just be numbers. So when I say data, I'm not just referring to figures, no, because even your picture is a data now. Okay, your text is a data, your text messages, these are data. Okay, your pictures are data, even your speech, okay, so all these are data. So we have structured and unstructured data. So when we say structured data, it could be figures arranged in an Excel sheet, well arranged with columns and rows. But unstructured data could be your pictures, your text messages, your speech. All these, I'm going to touch on it when we get to the stage of seeing real life application of data science. And data science is actually a field under AI, which we call artificial intelligence. So data science is just a field under AI. Under AI, we have so many other fields. We have robotics, IoT, Internet of Things. We have autonomous vehicles, driverless cars, and the rest. So all these things are under artificial intelligence. We have smart homes, So data science is just a portion of artificial intelligence. Okay. So these are the skills needed by a data scientist: maths uh, and statistics. You don't need to be an expert in maths and statistics, but you definitely need to know this and love maths and statistics. Then you need to have some experience in programming. Then you need to have good communication skill, as I said. You need to have a domain knowledge of what you are working on at every point in time. Okay, you may not have an expert domain knowledge, but you should have at least some level of domain knowledge. Okay, so let's touch on the programming skills now. So programming skills, most data scientists, they have beginner level to intermediate knowledge of programming. Data scientists are not good in programming. Okay, So data scientists, they are not good in programming. Software developers, they are better in programming than a data scientist. But data scientists, they just have a beginner to intermediate level of programming and knowledge. So if you're a data scientist already here, uh, except you are coming from a software development background, you will definitely not have advanced knowledge of programming. But it's okay because a data scientist do not need to do advanced programming. So they only need a beginner to intermediate level of programming. Okay. So in general, data scientists program in Python, uh, which is quite popular now, and some data scientists also program in R. So R is also a programming language for data science. Okay. Then we also have a database language like SQL, or what some people call SQL. And you should also have a knowledge of some visualization tools like Power BI. We also have Tableau. These are very important tools because when you are done with your analysis of the data and you want to present your findings to the management, they will definitely prefer it in form of visualizations, because the people you want to present your result to, they are not data scientists like you. They don't know anything about programming. So you need to come in a form, you need to present your results in a form that everybody out there can understand, can easily relate to it. And using visualization is the best way you can do that. So you need to have a knowledge of visualization too, like Power BI, Tableau, and we also have several other um, visualization tools also. Then SQL is a database language, which means you need to query database as a data scientist and draw out the data you need from the company database to do your analysis. And that's why you also need a good grasp of SQL. Okay, so most data scientists, they program in Python, in R, in SQL, in Power BI or Tableau. So these are the most popular tools you will see a data scientist using. Okay, so let's go ahead. Then what about communication skill? So data scientists will need to verbally communicate their results with the rest of the organization and team. They will often be tasked with explaining to a client their data analysis and models. If you have a poor verbal communication, uh, your team or the organization or a client will look at your model as a black box or magic, because they may not be really good. They may not be good in mathematics or statistics. So you need to be able to communicate your findings in a very simple way for everybody to understand. So through effective communication from a data scientist engenders trust in data products, and this could lead to increase adoption of what you've done. Okay, so you need to have good communication skill, because you always be required to present your findings to the management. And one thing we do in our data science project, our data lab, is we do ask our interns to write final reports, uh, which carries majority of the marks in their project. So because it's not just about writing code, you need to be able to understand what you are doing and be able to present it clearly, you know, uncluttered. So you need to be able to present it in a very clear form, And that is why we do allocate a whopping sum of like 20% of the overall mark in our project to only reporting. That is very important. Okay, so let's go ahead. What about domain knowledge? Yeah, so a data scientist can't create models for business problems they don't understand. Okay, so if you are working on a data set that has to do with uh medicine, for example, let's say diabetes prediction, or uh COVID-19 prediction or forecasting. Yeah, so you need to have a domain knowledge, at least some level of domain knowledge of what you are doing. Okay, so you can work on a problem you don't understand. Okay, because data science can be applied to all fields. Is it construction? Is it medicine? Is it art? Is it drama? Is it economics? Is it finance? Is it engineering? So data science can be applied across every field. So if you're working on a field that has to do with linguistic, so at least you should have some knowledge about linguistic. You don't need to study linguistic, you don't need to study medicine, but you need to re- research and have an understanding of the problem you are working with, even though it may not be advanced, you don't need that. Okay, but you need to understand the problem. So that is it. So let's go to the next one. So as I told you, data science is a interdisciplinary field. So data science is an interdisciplinary field. Not everyone who is a possible data scientist comes from specific math focused background, so you don't need to come from a mathematical science background to aspire to be a data scientist. Data scientist is a field where we have people from all manners of courses or backgrounds. So some data scientists come from the physical sciences, some from social sciences, and even arts background. Okay, I myself, I come from the social science background, not physical science. I don't study anything that has to do with computer science in school. I don't study anything that has to do with engineering and the likes. Okay, so it's a level playing field for everybody. So what unites all of them is that they have all learned how to code and are solving practical problems data using data. Yeah. Okay. So what are the available job roles in this field? Some of you asked this question the other time. So the available job roles in this field, there are so many of them, and all of them have to has something to do with data. We have business analysts, we have database administrator, data engineer, data analyst, machine learning engineer, business intelligence developer, business intelligence analyst, we have statistician, we have data scientists. So when you say you want to be a data scientist, it's just one of the job roles. We have several of them. We have decision scientists. Decision scientists is what Facebook call their own data scientists. So Facebook, if you are working in Facebook using data science, you will not be called a scientist. Your title will be a decision scientist, because you are using data to make uh, business decision for Facebook. So your title is a decision scientist, not a data scientist. So every company, they have what they call their data scientist. Okay. Then apart from that, these job roles, they all have something to do with data, as I said, and it also depends on the kind of tools or tasks they are doing in the company. So like a machine learning engineer now build data pipelines, could also train models and deploy it. A data analyst may not be involved in deploying models, but just analyzing the data and drawing insight. A data engineer will be using cloud platforms, cloud technologies, for data. And a business analyst may be concerned only with analyzing data for the business and drawing insights. It could a business analyst could also be versed in visualization, just to visualize data, build dashboards, and like that. So all these roles, one thing is that there are several roles, job roles in the field of the data science. As you can see, it depends on the tools they are using, and it also depends on the tasks they are doing. Okay, but let's see some of them. Okay, so this is a business analyst. So the role of a business analyst is slightly different from other data science jobs. They have good understanding of data-oriented technologies. They identify data and link it to business opportunities. Okay, so a business analyst should be able to link data to business opportunities. You're analyzing data to identify business opportunities, business performance, what a business could leverage on. You're analyzing data um, to study business trends, and like that, and to visualize it. We also have a database administrator. So database administrator, these are guys that are responsible for database querying, backups, and recovery. They are very good in SQL, structured query language, that is SQL or SQL. So they do a lot of work on the company database, because the data you'll be working on, they are stored in database. The database could be on site in the company, or it could be in the cloud. So database administrator, they are also data professionals, and they deal majorly with database. They may not be doing model building and all these popular things data scientists do. That is not their own work. Okay, so their own work is to manage the company database on site or in the cloud. So we also have big data engineer. So big data engineer, they are responsible for designing, building, testing, maintaining complex data processing systems that work with large data sets. So when the company is handling large data sets, massive one, they will require a big data engineer to build the necessary pipelines, set up the cloud architecture for the company to handle these large data sets. So they don't analyze data. Okay, so their own is just to work with cloud database. They could also do software development, and like that to manage the flow of data through the company, okay, until it gets to a data scientist or a business analyst or a data or a data analyst who uh, those ones are responsible for analyzing the data. So a data scientist may not be involved in managing the database or building the architecture for a big data. So a big data engineer do this. We do this, or a machine learning engineer. Okay, so this is so for a data analyst, his own job is just to collect, clean, analyze, and interpret data in a form that answer a question or solve a problem. So they use tools like R, Python, and SQL, and they have a sound knowledge of predictive analytics, descriptive analytics, prescriptive analytics, and so their own job is just majorly analyzing, data. So where the data is coming from, they don't know about it because the data is coming from the company database, which is being managed by a big data engineer or a machine learning engineer. So a data analyst do not know about all those infrastructure. His own is just to collect the data and analyze it. The same thing with a data scientist too. Their own job is just to collect the data and analyze it and draw insight from it. Okay. So a machine learning engineer, as I said, these guys they deal with powerful technologies in the company, majorly the data infrastructure of the company. Yeah, and they are also good in machine learning. Also, they could build predictive uh, models too. Then, apart from Python, R, and SQL, they also have some software development, some other software development languages knowledge, like Java, C++. So they are also good in that. Most of the machine learning engineer, they do come from a software development background. Some companies prefer to employ a machine learning engineer that was formerly a software developer or is still a software developer. So business intelligence analytics, their own work is similar to what a business analyst does. Okay, so right now, some industries that uses data science. So we have so many industries that uses data science. We have the finance industry, banks, investment, insurance firms, fintech. We have so many fintechs in Lagos. It's one of the rising sector in Nigeria, and they are one of the highest employer of data scientists presently in Nigeria. Fintechs, that is financial technology companies. We have some of them like Paystack, Flutterwave, and the likes. So there are several of them right there in Lagos. We have Piggy Invest and the likes. So then banks too. They are one of the highest employer of data scientists in Nigeria. Banks, First Bank, UBA, Sterling Bank, and the likes. Okay, so they employ a lot of data scientists, banks, and fintechs in Nigeria. I think they should be the highest employer of data scientists in Nigeria. Other sectors are not that they have not really embraced employing data scientists. And I guess the reason is because some of these other sectors in Nigeria, they don't keep data. So they have problem with keeping data, and they are not really custodians of big data. So, but when you talk about banks and fintechs, they are actually custodians of so many data, and that is why they always see the need to employ a data scientist. We also have professional services industries. This cuts across all forms of sectors, business, uh, management, and the likes. Then we also have the technology industry, which is also the biggest employer of data scientists, because they are constantly adapting algorithms and AI to improve user experience, and in turn they collect more consumer data. Okay, so technology industry, uh, undoubtedly they are the biggest employer of data scientists. uh, I would say after them we have the finance industry, then other professional firms too. Okay, so when we say professional firms, it could also be a medical line, it could be along the medical line and the likes. So right now I want to go into how data science solve real world problems. So this is quite interesting. So I'll be showing you some practical examples of how data science solves real world problems. Okay. So but before I go right into that, I want to take a break by showing you testimonies, or what our interns at Data Lab are saying, sharing their learning experience. So I'm going to take a break here, just like 3 minutes break, just 3 minutes break, and I'm going to and I want you to watch, because some of you may be thinking that, okay, after this webinar I would love to also acquire this world-class skill. I would also like to explore this interesting field of AI and artificial intelligence. So it would be better if you hear live testimonies, from people also that we've trained, and they can share their learning experience with you. Okay, so let's quickly take that in the next 3 minutes.
I decided to learn data science, well, because the future. I decided to learn data science, well, because the future of work is tech, it's remote, and I was looking for an intersection between business and tech because I wanted to get a business degree. So I found data science. I started doing my research about it, and I fell in love. We worked on a lot of projects in data lab, data processing, data analysis using Python, R, SQL, Tableau. We are currently working on a recommendation engine right now with Python. I'll definitely miss my colleagues. I made a lot of good friends there. Demi, Victoria, and I'll miss our tutors. Gave them a lot of headache. They were always complaining, but I definitely miss them. My career goals afterwards, well, long term, I'd like to be an independent data consultant. In short term, I'd like to work with a data science in a company, of course, I can fully ground myself in data science.
I'm into data engineering, and as a data engineer, you always work with a data scientist. And if you want to satisfy the person you work with, actually, you have to understand how that person thinks. And that's one of the things that made me to come into data science. Basically, the sample data is from Lagos State, some selected areas in Lagos State, and like Aja, VI, Akeja, and the rest. And the task is to determine the rent in these areas and how the cost will be in the future. So I had a data set and I worked on it to develop a model that would predict the rent in these locations. Meeting the kind of people I work with, I feel like I should stay enrolled for another program because actually the kind of people I met, I so much enjoyed the company.
So I'm just going to miss Data Lab as a whole. The package was so wow, and I was impressed with everything. They really, really impressed me from the instructors to the management to the organizations. Everything was top notch, and I'm just going to recommend. I can actually recommend so many people, some of my friends, to come and study in Data Lab.
All right, so I hope you enjoyed that those videos. Yeah. So let's go ahead into the presentation again. Share my slide again. Yeah, so let's look at how data science solves real world problems. And okay, so we have real world problems like object recognition. So I'm going to do it in form of pictorial illustrations, as you can see. So this is object recognition. We have a system which has been programmed using an object recognition algorithm, and when you point a tree, it's able to recognize it as a tree, as you can see. And so nowadays we have so many applications of object recognition. Some of them are built into some technologies that we use, on a daily basis. And these are just mathematical models called, these are mathematical models built from algorithms that can be used to detect various kind of objects, any kind of object you can think about. We have algorithms now, or we have models now that can be built to detect objects. One practical example of this is CCTV. The modern CCTV camera that we use now, the CCTV camera installed in buildings, or some of you have it in your house. So they can detect if a person comes in. So that is a kind of object detection, detecting human movement, the movement of a person. You can use object detection for traffic lights to regulate traffic, and you can use as in you can build detection into so many technologies, traffic lights, CCTV, and so many other things. Object detection also used in medicine during surgical operations. Then we also have the recommendations system. So this is a project we are currently working on at Data Lab. I'm supervising that project because I have expertise also in recommendation system. So presently our current Intels now, they are building a system like this called recommendation system, and some of you or all of us, we have interacted with it before, but you may not really know what it is called. So this is a pictorial illustration from Konga. Everyone knows Konga. So if you have shopped on Konga before or on Jumia, you will definitely see something like this, suggesting to you similar items that you may like. So these are recommendation system built at the back end of those websites. And this kind of recommendations, they are also part of artificial intelligence. And the purpose of this is to optimize the customer experience. You want them to buy something, and you also want them to experience similar items that they may like to buy, based on what they have bought. So this whole idea is just to optimize the customer shopping experience and make it pleasant. So this is called recommendation system. I believe most of you've seen something like this, so it's called recommendation system. Then we also have object classification. So this is a practical training on Jupyter Notebook, which is a platform where we train models, and this is an algorithm detecting what this object is. So you can see the predicted label is apple. Okay, so object classification is being used in several technologies to identify objects in agriculture. We use it to identify if a fruit is ripe or not. Object classification is used in virtually every field, in e-commerce, in engineering, in the energy sector. Anything you want to identify or classify, you can deploy an object classification model by training an algorithm, applying an algorithm to do that in data science. Then we also have facial recognition. I believe you all know about facial recognition, or if you don't know, then an example is also the CCTV. So on CCTV now, they can identify, not just see people, but they can also identify them. Okay, and this can be done by training some machine learning algorithms in the field of computer vision. So computer vision is teaching computers how to see or how to recognize if it sees something. So this is a very growing field now, where we teach computers how to see, okay, see like human beings. So nowadays, computer can also identify people's people's faces, can recognize a personality, okay, just like you. So if you look at somebody, you can recognize the person. Now we are training computers to also see like you, to also be able to recognize things if they see it, if they see a thing, they can recognize what that thing is, or if it's they see a person, they can recognize who that person is. So this is a kind of training in progress of training an algorithm to recognize the faces of different presidents, or different presidents or politicians, something like that. And this field of computer vision can be used in virtually every field where there's need for recognition. So I got this snapshot from Data Lab inbox. So this is Gmail. So, and you can see the red arrow there that points to a box asking me if this is useful. I don't know if any of you have seen this lately in your Gmail inbox. So this is also an application of artificial intelligence to detect spam, in your inbox. So most of us will just open our inbox, then you see that some emails are being moved to your spam folder. You don't know how the system recognize that those emails are spam, or you have never thought of it. Yeah, so that is an area of artificial intelligence. So in data science, for example, you can train an algorithm for spam detection, and once it is identified, once it identifies spam emails coming into your inbox, it can move it safely to the spam folder, especially detecting fraud and the likes. Okay, so but in this case now, you can see an email from Cornell University. The algorithm is not quite sure in this sense, because machine learning is not perfect, just like human beings are not perfect. So, but the next thing is asking me here is if this email is useful. So if I say yes, so it keeps allowing it to get into my inbox. But if I say no, then the algorithm learn that when next it sees this kind of email, it should send it right away into the spam folder. Okay, so this is how machine learning algorithms learn with time. The more they see data, the more they learn, and the more they are able to make better choices. What about conversational systems? So conversational systems are all those chatbots that you do use, like your WhatsApp, your Telegram, your Twitter. But apart from all these social, those ones are called social media conversational system. Apart from that, we also have custom chatbots built for businesses. Like, for example, you can see this person is trying to ask the chatbots, can I book a room tonight? And immediately the person got a response, even with a link to the hotel, to click and book a room in an hotel, So this is called conversational system, a two-way communication between an human being and a computer. Okay, and this is called human to computer interaction in the area of conversational system. So these are being widely used now, in every field. In businesses, you have it installed on some websites. You have it as an app, and you can build something like this for medical diagnostics that will first engage with a patient's initial consultation before the patient even sees before the patient see a doctor. The patient could have initial consultation with a chatbot just to interact with the patient and know what is wrong with the patient, and before referring to the patient to a doctor. So these are being used now in virtually every field. It can be used to take customer orders in e-commerce and the likes, So at Data Lab, we also specialize in conversational system, and we've built some chatbots, yes, along this field. Yeah, so we built some chatbot for Data Lab itself. We built chatbot for emergency, for a person to request for emergency, maybe fire disaster and the likes. Then we've also built a chatbot just for social interaction, So, yeah. And these are done by our Intels, okay? I think the last time we had a webinar, I showed that in that then I showed some of the chatbot built by our Intels, the last time we had this kind of webinar. Yeah. So this is conversational system, as you can see. Okay, so right now we are close to getting to the end of this webinar, and I just want to answer your questions now. And before I go to okay, let me start with some of the questions that you guys dropped at the beginning of this webinar. Okay. All right, good. Okay, so for some of them, it has been they have been answered, during the course of my presentation. So I'll just jump over them. But for some of them that are not, that I think they have not been answered in this presentation, then I'm going to touch on them. So the first one I have here that is yes. So after this, I'm going to take your other questions. Okay, but let me first deal with the ones that you dropped earlier. So is it necessary to have a degree in statistics or mathematics to be a data scientist? Okay, I think this has been answered in the course of the presentation. You don't need a degree in mathematics or statistics, but you need to love mathematics or statistics. If you are the kind that hates maths, then you can be a data scientist, because data science has a lot to do with mathematics and statistics. So if you hate maths, then it's not the field for you. Then internship opportunities. Well, we have training internship at Data Lab, but if you are talking about internship opportunities in form like in the form of a job, so to say, then of course we have some companies that may be open to internship, like in form of a job for you. So yeah, so you can one platform you can use is LinkedIn. So if you're on LinkedIn, you can see some of these adverts on LinkedIn, and you can apply for those jobs or those internship opportunities. So courses needed to learn to become a data scientist. Okay, I've already touched on this in the presentation. You need to learn programming, Now, when I say mathematics or statistics, we don't teach you maths at data lab, of course. But one thing we do is every of our interns, they normally start with a book that we normally give them to read, and that book has to do with statistics, but statistics in a very simplified form, because we know not everybody have a firm grasp of this mass or statistics, but we give you a book just to refresh your memory on some basic statistical terms, which is what you need. You don't need to know advanced statistics, so, but you just need to know some basic things like mean, media, mode, standard deviation, and the likes. So these are just the basic things in statistics that you need to know. And I'm sure that most of us, we've done statistics, and I don't think there's anyone here that throughout your schooling you have never done maths or statistics. Yeah. So then can medicine or data science? Of course, medicine is one of the areas where we have so many applications of data science, especially it has been applied so much in surgical operations, diagnostics, prescription, um, drug discovery, genomics or something like that. So it has been applied in so many areas and in medicine, of course. So and new developments. There are some doctors that they specialize in data science and AI. So every necessary thing a beginner needs to know. So I believe I've touched on this. Job opportunities for data scientists, both remote and physical. Yeah, you can use platforms like LinkedIn to search for jobs. Learning paths in becoming a good data scientist. I mean, a force to reckon with. Yeah, a force to, if you are learning to be a data scientist, then because it is a growing field, so one-time learning is not all that it requires. So you need to work on more projects. You need to keep learning. It's a lifelong learning field because the field is evolving every day. It never stops. So, and this is just the difference between data science and other fields. So other fields could be static. What you have been using 5 years ago is what you are still using. You know, uh, or some fields, there are changes in some field may not be that much, like accounting and the likes. So some of the things you are using 10 years ago may still be the same thing that you are using now. So those fields, they don't really change much. But for AI or data science, the field is really evolving every day, every year. So, which means to be a force to reckon with, you need to keep learning and keep developing yourself. Even after our internship, we normally tell our students that they need to keep learning. So it's a lifelong learning field, So I need to work on more projects even after your internship. You need to take on more projects, more challenges. You need to keep abreast with latest development in the field. You need to also evolve fast as the field is evolving fast, and like that. Yeah. So, how is it like to transit from a field that has nothing to do with data science? Of course, data science. I don't think there's any field that has nothing to do with data. So, if you are saying a field that has nothing to do with data science, that means you are saying there's a field now in this modern world that we are now that doesn't have anything to do with data, which is not true. So there's no field that doesn't have anything to do with data science or with data as far as I'm concerned. The role of data scientists in the tech, of course, we've discussed this. Uh, Opportunities, okay, we've discussed this. Entering into data science field with no knowledge of coding, of course, anybody can learn coding. What I normally tell people is that I think even primary school students are learning coding now. Yes, or some of your kids at home, they are teaching them coding in primary schools. So some of them can even program in Python. You know, they can design games. Those kids using programming. So um, in standard primary schools now, they should be teaching programming. So kids are learning it. So if kids are learning, primary school students are learning it, then you can also learn programming. You don't need to have any computer science background. You don't need that. Um, it's something that is learnable, okay? Just like any other thing. Yeah. Okay, so now let me take your questions now. I think I've exhausted that, and I hope I've answered your questions. But if you are still unclear, or you still require to, or you still want to ask extra questions or more questions, you can unmute yourself. You can ask your question. Okay, I think somebody dropped the question. Okay. When is the deadline for payment for the data science program for women? Okay, data science program for women. Okay. So yeah, the deadline should be close to the program. I think the program should start on the 10th, if I'm right. Second week of January or so. Yeah. So of course you don't want to miss your first class. So you have to pay before the program starts. Yeah. And this is a snapshot of the last one we had. The last one we had January this year. So it's always only the first part of every new year, because for the remaining part of the year, we do general data science internship, not specifically for women alone. Okay, but we always start every year with data science for women, which is a special one. But after that, we switch back to our normal data science internship for everyone. Yeah. So, any other question?
Hello, good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Yeah, Hamza Abdurrahman is my name,
Okay.
and I want to thank the organizer of this program for a job well done. However, my question is that for one to become a data scientist, you see, yeah, with the program I attended initially, is that you either be a machine learning or a software developer or a data scientist, because I was into a Python programming. So now I'm a little bit confused with my Python programming language. Course I've already undertaken. Then does it have anything related to what you are or I have to take another course in data science separately, or with that knowledge I can apply to data science? That is my question.
Okay. If I get you, you've learned data science or you've taken data science training somewhere before, and what did you learn there? Is it only Python programming you learned there?
Yes.
Okay, only Python. Okay, so now what are you currently doing? You are working, is it that you are working as a data scientist presently now?
No, that is the question. Because when we are on the training, you were told that you either be a machine learning specialist, or a software developer, or a data scientist. So these are the three areas that we are asked to either venture into after the training.
Okay.
Now, I don't know, maybe why does one need to drop all other one? Because initially my interest was in software developing, not but now that I'm joining the program of data science now. So I don't know if there's any, is there any synergy? Is there any nexus between all these three things, or I have to begin another data scientist program apart from the one I've learned before?
No, 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 no. There's a synergy. Yeah. So if you know something about software developer, you can combine that with data science. And the better it is for you, if you have several skills that you can bring and combine into programming for data science. So as a data scientist, you train machine learning algorithms, which is also more or less like the machine learning specialist that you are talking about. Then from machine learning, you could also deploy the model to production. In that sense, you will need a software development skill to do that. So all that you've learned, there's still a synergy, and uh, there's still you will still be able to apply it across several things that you are doing. And don't be confused about the acronyms for the names. It's more about the skills, because during the presentation I said there are so many names of jobs in this field. So don't be confused about the names. Just concentrate about the skills you have and how you can bring them together to work on a problem. So you need your software development skill in order to put a data science model into production.
Thank you, sir. But one last question is that if in this field of all this data science and the rest of them, if one doesn't have a mentor, somebody you be anytime you run into a problem, you ask. I know it's somehow very difficult. So I don't know, maybe how can one go about the process without having somebody who's your mentor? So I don't know. Maybe you get what I mean, because it's very difficult when you are going alone
Yeah.
when it comes to this data science of a thing.
Okay. Is it after your training or during your training?
Hello?
Yeah. Are you a mentor after or
Yes.
during your training? Okay, so if it's a mentor outside during your training, of course, every data science training should provide adequate mentorship. Then, even after the training, there should also be adequate provision for ongoing mentorship. What we do in data lab is that after the training, we do, especially those of our
Something break.
students that are very much interested in the, we do provide them
Breaking.
opportunities
The
to
network is failing somehow. I don't know.
contribute to some of the projects, some of our in-house projects, because just as I told you, we don't only do data science training. We're a technology company, which means we have our staff also in the house working on some of the in-house company project that has nothing to do with the data school. Okay, so during our internship, we we give opportunities to our interns to work on projects, and after, for those of them that are
Is it the network from my
willing
side?
to
Yeah,
come back.
something is breaking. Is it
Yeah,
the
yeah.
network from my side? Yeah, because
Yeah, I think it's
It's
on your side.
breaking.
Yeah. So we
Eh,
we do give opportunities after the internship for those of them that want to be part of what we are doing in-house, and that is a kind of ongoing mentorship, Yeah. So,
okay.
do you have a physical class in Lagos? No, we don't have a physical class in Lagos now. And the only physical class we have is in Abuja. But we have several students from different states, purposely traveling to Abuja to come and take our training. Um, Presently, we have up to like close to five students who came from Lagos. Okay, we have from Benue, we have from Plateau, we have from Kogi State, we have from Ibadan. Yeah, we have from Ibadan too. So they just want to experience a new city. So for those that want to experience a new city also, so yeah, they just travel from all these places to come for our training. So, but if you're in Lagos and you cannot travel down to Abuja, then the virtual class is actually a thing to consider. Yeah. Okay, so let me hear a quiz silly. Yeah.
Good afternoon,
Yeah.
everyone.
Good afternoon.
Yeah. Um,
Yeah, we can hear you. A quiz silly, you can go ahead.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Yeah. Good afternoon. Yeah.
That's okay, sir. You made mention of no physical class in Lagos. Is that something like an accommodation or hostel whereby people from Lagos, like, we could probably come in and pay? We have to pay for it within this section, like, because me, I don't like visual learning like that. I prefer physical class, especially me coming from a different field, like totally something different. So
Okay, if you are the kind that prefer the physical face-to-face class, and yeah, in Abuja, we had before, but we don't presently provide accommodation. So sorry about that for interns again. So which means if you are coming, then you need to make provision for where you are going to stay. If you have a relative in Abuja or somewhere you can just stay for just 3 months, so you can consider that. But presently, I'm sorry, we don't have a place to let for rent, or we don't give accommodation. So we decided that we just want to focus on what we are doing in the company and training our students. And I think getting accommodation should not be a problem. Yeah, if you're just coming in. Yeah.
okay, another question, please. So, if I'm registering for data science, am I going to take data analysis? Because I think there are two different things, right?
Yeah. When you say the data analysis, it depends on the tools that you are using. You can use Python for your data analysis. You can use R for your data analysis. And data science and data analysis, uh, they are not two different things, because data analysis is part of data science.
What of artificial intelligence?
Yeah, artificial intelligence, just as I said, is an umbrella name under which we have data science. So in data science, you can do a project uh, in data science, which means you are still doing a project under artificial intelligence, because data science is under artificial
Yeah,
intelligence. Other fields are robotics and the likes.
right. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir.
Okay, let's hear from Love. Love, you have a question?
It's about the physical class in Abuja. When is it starting?
The same second week of January.
Okay, okay, okay.
Yeah, it's going to be 3 months, so it should terminate around that should be around that first week of April or so.
Okay. So how many batches do you have in a year? Is it like three batches
Yeah, just three.
for a year? Okay. First,
Yeah,
the
and
first one is
we
from.
yeah. So we have three batches. Currently now we are through with all our batches for this year. Um,
Okay.
so the next one will start by January, and um, yeah, we run three batches for the in class and the online also. Just three batches in a year. Then we don't keep large class size. We don't do that. So if you because we think more about the learning experience more than the money. Okay, so we don't keep large class size. So if the class size is already exceeding like 10 going beyond 10, 12, then we stop you from registering. You can see some of the things I've showed. We don't keep large class size because we can't control you all. So, and we want to pay adequate attention to everyone, even in the online class or in the physical class. We don't keep large class size, no, and it's intentional. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So how much for the Abuja one?
Yeah, everything is on the website. If you go to the website, you can register there because you need to register. I'll just drop the link in the chat box. So that is the link in the chat box. So go there, you'll find all the information there. Our contact is also there. Our contact is
Okay.
on the website. You can find the contact, the address, everything on the website.
Okay.
Okay. So just go there. I've dropped the website, that is www.datalab.com.ng. So you see all the informations there. Then you also need to register. So you will see everything there. Yeah.
Thank you.
So any question, even if it's a question not related to data lab, I'm always eager to answer any question. Yeah.
Hello, hello, sir.
Yeah.
It's me again. The question I want to ask that when one want to join the internship, and you said the physical class is more preferable, but a lot of people that are out that are not in Lagos and in other states, I want to join the what is it called, the internship.
No,
So,
no.
do you make any provision?
Okay, no, I don't say I don't say the physical class is more preferable. Um, I can't say that because the online class is my class. So I will say the both the online class and the physical class um, both of them are okay, you know. But if you want to do the physical, then you have to be in Abuja. But if you want to do the online class, you can be anywhere around the world. In the online class, we've had students from Canada, from UK, from Senegal. Yeah, so I've taught I've taught Nigerians in Canada. We've taught some francophone, you know, from Senegal, you know, and like that. So the beauty of the online class is that you meet people from different states and sometimes from different countries. Yeah.
So one thing I realized in the issue of this data science and other AI of a thing, constant practice is the major thing, or major building projects. It is the hallmark of the whole of the whole program. If one, the matter is certificate you acquire, you matter everything, but you are not practicing, you are not creating projects, you are not solving problems. I don't know how one is going to go about it, because I did my own Python with HIT in Lagos through an online program. But after the program now, the problem is the mentorship. No one, nowhere to continue all these what's it called, projects. So maybe if you can help, which website or which platform are you going to, community are you going to join, where you will be practicing all these things? Because without practice, I don't know, this thing is not what one can just learn and go and stay somewhere and you say you are planning something. I'm very sorry. So that is the issue.
Yeah,
That is the
yeah, I've
issue.
already addressed that you need to, of course, keep working on project. It's a fast evolving field. And in our data lab, what we do differently is that for people like you that are very passionate and you want to just forge ahead even after your training, you want to keep learning and the likes, we we made provision in data lab for people like you to still contribute to the company projects, so you can be working for us remotely, volunteering in our in-house projects, and as a way you are also like being mentored, and uh, you keep working on projects, so we normally call our interns and give them that opportunity that they can still volunteer in what we are doing in the company. So they keep learning. They can put it on their CV that they are volunteering for us, working on our projects and like that. So
Okay.
you keep learning. Yeah.
So are you offering that one to me now?
Yeah, for you to come into that, then you need to like take some of our training, because we are not quite sure how you have been taught. We have our own method, and we cannot just take you like that to be contributing to our in-house projects until we are sure of your competence. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
All right.
in what way am I going to be? You want to test me in what way now? Because you have to tell me the the way by which I will join this thing, so I'll be able to carry me along. That is the issue. Carrying me along for me to become a professional. That is the goal of being into this what is it called? Into this program.
Yeah. So you yeah, you can attend one of our training. Yeah. And you'll be, if you're in Abuja, or if you're not in Abuja, maybe one of our virtual training, you can attend it. From there we get to know more about you, what you do, and how we can bring you on board volunteering for us. Yeah. So we need to get to know you more.
What is the first step am I going to take?
Yeah, first step is our virtual training if you're not in Lagos.
I'm not in Lagos.
Yeah, sorry, if you're not in Abuja, then you need to
I'm
take the
not in
virtual
Abuja.
training.
I'm not in Abuja. I'm in Kano.
Yeah, yeah, so you need to take the virtual training.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, but in what way am I going to register for the virtual training? There any link?
Uh, yeah, yeah. The virtual training should start around that May. Just as I said, we normally begin the year with only program for women. Yeah, it's a special initiative to encourage more women participation in data science. So that's what we are starting 2022 with. We do that every year. For the general training, which you can fit in, that one we definitely be around that May, after we are done with the special program for women.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how much does it cost when you want to join?
I think our online training is 150, and it's
Okay.
payable in 2 equal installments. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. So any other question? Any other question Okay, so if there's no any other question, I think we can call it a day at this point. So thank you for attending this.
Sir,
One
sir,
question,
Yeah.
please.
sir, do you see the question I wrote there that how can we get the recorded video of this one so that we're able to all what to, because I didn't join you from the beginning. So that is why, because of the network issue. So I don't know if you can get, are we going to get the recorded video so I can go
Yes.
through what all what you said.
Yes, the recorded video will be sent to you to your
Okay,
email. Yeah.
okay, sir.
Then can you drop your email in the chat box?
Okay, sir. Let me do that.
You can drop
Um,
your email in the chat box.
one more thing, sir.
Yeah.
After like your students, the internship, and probably they stay in house like to help in the project and everything. Do you outsource them to like fintech companies or banks that probably need data scientists, or they just work in house at the long run also?
Okay. No, we don't have a partnership with a bank or stuff like that um, to employ our data science. A form of partnership that outsource. Yeah, no, we don't do that presently. And but what we do is that we provide career support, which means part of your training is also about how to get jobs in Nigeria or internationally, remote jobs internationally. And we expose you to ways you can do that. Is a training on its own. So that is what we do. That is the career support that we presently uh, provide. And some of our interns, they've gotten job opportunities. Then sometimes companies do contact us rather. If you check our website, you will see a place there that we request for, that we note there that companies can contact us if they need data scientists or like that. So we do have a request from companies at times for those that we've trained. Um, if we could recommend them for a job. So we do recommend our interns for job, but that doesn't mean we have the control over the company that they must employ you. We are not a recruiter. Yeah. So the companies will still set up an interview, and even though we recommend you to them, but it's not automatic. They will still set up an interview, and you will still need to pass their interview, and they will make a decision if you pass and they are going to employ you or not. So yeah, we do get those kind of requests, and we let our interns know that we have a request. Should we present you to them for interview? Yeah. Okay. So yeah. Okay. So someone just drop a message. Yeah, that is interested in coming to Abuja. Yeah. So it's not difficult to get accommodation. Accommodation is everywhere around our office area also. So no problem with that. Okay. So any other question?
Um, the mentorship program
Yeah.
after internship, is it a paid one or just volunteer?
It's volunteering. Yeah, it's not. You don't pay for it, because not everybody is interested in that after their training. So people just want to go away and do their things.
Okay, okay.
So, but for those who are willing to volunteer, yeah, so you can volunteer for us, get to work on also what we are doing in-house, a way of mentorship. Yeah, so it's actually optional and free. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
So any question? Any other question?
He says to drop my email and I'll drop it.
Yeah.
Okay.
No problem with that.
Okay.